Instructor Velkara had seen many species pass through the Galactic Defense Academy in her 17 cycles of service. The proud Thraxians with their forearms and military precision, the methodical Corinthei who could calculate trajectories in their heads, the swift Zelkari whose reflexes made them natural pilots. But in all those cycles, she had never encountered a problem quite like Cadet 13. Cadet 13 was a Crevashi, a species known for their aggressive tendencies and pack mentality. Standing nearly 3 meters tall with chitinous armor plating and razor-sharp mandibles, the Crevashi were formidable warriors. They were also notoriously difficult to discipline. Cadet 13 embodied every negative stereotype of his species. He bullied smaller cadets, broke equipment during training exercises, and openly challenged instructors. He had been reprimanded 14 times in his first month alone. The Academy's disciplinary council had met twice to discuss his expulsion, but each time they had decided to give him another chance. The Crevashi were valuable allies, and the Federation couldn't afford to insult them by rejecting one of their own. Then the humans arrived. The Terran Federation had only recently achieved faster-than-light travel and had been invited to send representatives to the Academy as part of their integration into galactic society. Most species viewed humanity with curiosity tinged with pity. They were small, fragile creatures from a death world who had somehow survived long enough to reach the stars. Despite having no natural weapons, no armor plating, and reflexes that were merely adequate, the human they sent was named Marcus Webb. He was unremarkable by human standards, average height, average build with brown hair graying at the temples and eyes that seemed perpetually tired. He moved with a quiet economy of motion that suggested military training, though his file indicated he was primarily an instructor, not a combat specialist. Velkara assigned him to advanced combat tactics, the same course where Cadet 13 was currently failing. The trouble started on Webb's first day. Cadet 13 had decided to test the newcomer, as he tested everyone. During a hand-to-hand combat demonstration, he stepped forward, towering over the human instructor. "You." 13 clicked in Galactic Standard, his mandibles clicking with amusement. "You're supposed to teach us combat? You're barely half my size. You have no claws, no armor, no venom. What could you possibly teach me?" The other cadets fell silent, watching. Some of the smaller species looked away, not wanting to witness another humiliation. They had all learned to avoid Cadet 13's attention. Webb looked up at the massive alien with those tired eyes. He didn't flinch, didn't step back, didn't show any of the fear responses the Crevashi could usually smell. "That's an interesting question, Cadet," Webb said softly. "Would you like a demonstration?" 13's mandibles spread in what might have been a grin. "Yes. Show me what humans can do." What happened next would become legend in the Academy halls. Webb didn't move like the other instructors. He didn't adopt a formal combat stance or announce his intentions. He simply moved, and suddenly Cadet 13 was on the ground, his primary breathing aperture compressed, his limbs twisted at angles that should have given him leverage but somehow didn't. "Lesson 1, Webb said conversationally, not even breathing hard. "On Earth we don't have natural weapons, so we learn to turn everything into a weapon, including our opponent's body." He released the pressure slightly, allowing 13 to gasp. "Lesson 2, humans evolved as persistence hunters. We don't give up, ever. We will chase prey for days until it collapses from exhaustion. We will fight until our bodies literally cannot continue. Your species might be stronger, Cadet, but I promise you I can outlast you." Webb stood, offering a hand to help the cadet up. 13, stunned and winded, ignored it and scrambled to his feet on his own. "That was luck," 13 hissed, though his voice carried less certainty. Webb shrugged. "Then you won't mind if we go again." They went again, and again, and again. Each time Webb put him down with minimal effort, using techniques that seemed to defy physics, leveraging joints against themselves, using momentum as a weapon, targeting nerve clusters that 13 didn't even know were vulnerable. By the 5th round, Cadet 13 was breathing heavily, his chitinous plates clicking with exhaustion. Webb looked exactly the same as when they started. Tired, yes, but no more tired than before. "Do you know why humans are so good at combat, Cadet?" Webb asked, circling slowly. "It's not because we're the strongest or the fastest. It's because on Earth everything wanted to kill us. Predators, parasites, other humans, even the weather. We survived because we learned to be creative. We learned to think." We learned that the biggest threat isn't the one with the biggest claws, it's the one who refuses to stay down. He paused, looking around at all the cadets now watching with rapt attention. We learned to be terrifying. That night, Cadet 13 was unusually quiet in the barracks. The other cadets noticed but said nothing, afraid that calling attention to it might break whatever spell had been cast. The next day in combat class, something unprecedented happened. Cadet 13 arrived early, stood at attention, and when Webb entered, he actually saluted properly. "Instructor," 13 said formally, "I request additional training. I have much to learn." Webb studied him for a long moment, then nodded. 600 tomorrow. Don't be late." From that day forward, Cadet 13 transformed. He stopped bullying smaller cadets. In fact, he began defending them. He repaired equipment he had broken. He followed orders without complaint. When other instructors asked what had changed, he would simply say, "I learned respect." But the other cadets knew the truth. They had seen it in 13's eyes after that first day with Webb. It wasn't just respect. It was fear. Fear of a species that had climbed to the top of a death world's food chain not through natural weapons, but through sheer terrifying stubbornness. Fear of creatures who turned their own fragility into an advantage. Fear of beings who smiled while they calculated a dozen ways to take you apart. Velkara watched the transformation with satisfaction. In her report to the Academy Council, she wrote, "The human integration program has exceeded all expectations. Instructor Webb has managed what 14 reprimands could not. Recommend expansion of human teaching staff." She didn't mention what she'd overheard in the corridor, Cadet 13 explaining to a group of younger students why they should pay attention in Webb's class. "Because humans," 13 had said, his voice carrying an edge of something that might have been awe. "Humans are the only species in the galaxy who figured out how to make weakness into a weapon. And if you're not careful, you won't realize you're beaten until you're already on the ground." The younger cadets had nodded solemnly, not quite understanding but sensing the truth in his words. In his office, Marcus Webb filed his own report, much shorter than Velkara's. Day 1 complete. No significant issues. Students are responsive and eager to learn. Request approval for advanced curriculum. Then he leaned back in his chair, allowed himself a small smile, and muttered something in English that the translator didn't quite catch. It sounded like Semper Fi. Whatever it meant, it sounded like a promise or perhaps a warning.